Welcome back, Brooklyn Nets fans. A long overdue reaction. I have not talked to you guys since the third game of the year. The Nets are now 4-5, and they had a real chance to be 5-4 after tonight. They went to overtime in Boston versus the Celtics. There was no Jaylen Brown or Porzingis. But for this Nets team, with the shape they're in and the roster they have and the expectations for how low they were coming into the year, they are opening a lot of eyes right now. And when I last talked to you guys, they were 1-2. Since then, they, of course, got both wins versus the Grizzlies, which I know Marcus Smart and Desmond Bane were not playing in those games. But regardless, you're still beating John Morant, Triple J. You're beating a good team overall. So for the Nets to come out here tonight as 13.5-point dogs, go to overtime, had a real chance to win. I do think if Cam Thomas on one of those final shots in regulation drove to the basket, had two Celtics defenders come at him, if he just threw the lob to Claxton, and Claxton thought it was coming, the Nets may have won this game. And I was very conflicted. I'm like, do I want them to win this game? Do I want them to lose this game? Because as you guys know, I despise the Boston Celtics. I'm a Tatum hater. Only person I like on that team is Jaylen Brown. He was not even playing. So I had no reason to want the Celtics to win this game, aside from the fact I want a better draft pick. So I was conflicted, but in the end, still went to overtime, made them play hard to beat the Nets. And some guys this year, and in this game specifically, some guys have really stepped up. I just look at guys like Cam Johnson, who made two clutch free throws at the end of regulation, almost made a three to put them up by one at the end. We've yet to see Cam Johnson make a clutch three-pointer as a Net. One day it's going to happen. I thought it might have been tonight. He thought it was in. You can tell by the way when he released that ball, there was the angle from the Nets baseline. And when he shot that, he was backpedaling like he made that. And at least it wasn't like the Nick Young meme where he just shoots the ball, turns around and does this and it goes out. But this is still a game, despite the loss, where you come out as a Nets fan just kind of being reaffirmed that we have the right head coach. This head coach, everything he did in Sacramento, he's brought here. And you can just tell they're running plays. They're doing things that you just would not see past Nets coaches doing. There was a situation in the game tonight where Cam Johnson just couldn't control the ball. He was stuck in the corner. The possession was going nowhere. There were about 8 seconds left on the shot clock, and Cam Johnson, was just stuck in the corner. And instead of letting the play go, which I think Jacque Vaughn definitely would have done, Steve Nash probably would have done. I've seen Jacque Vaughn let those go before. Jordi Fernandez runs out the half court, gets the timeout, and I do believe the next possessions when Cam Johnson got fouled and went to the line to tie the game. But even the way they just came out and played defense, they came out this game and got out to a 12-0 lead. Obviously, Boston, with the firepower they have, they're eventually going to get points on the board, and they did. They only trailed by 4 after the first quarter. But they made the Celtics work for these points. They were forcing them into shots that they probably didn't want to take. At one point, you had Sam Hauser shooting mid-range shots, which, you'll take that any day. They were making Tillman beat them from 3, and Tillman only had 6 minutes. He started this game, but only got 6 minutes, so clearly not his night. But they were going to make Tillman beat them from 3. Couldn't do it. He was 0 for 3 from downtown in 6 minutes. They were making Drew Holiday beat them from deep. He went 0 for 4. Horford went 3 for 9. So Derek White 1 for 6. Most of the Celtics looks, I will say, besides Hauser definitely had some threes that should have went in. Most Celtics three-point attempts in this game, besides Tillman and besides maybe half of Hauser's, they were all heavily contested. So you can't be too disappointed about that. At least they're contesting. And I think just the way the defensive rotations have gone, the way they switch on ball and off ball, you'll see times where they switch off ball, times where, for example, Jason Tatum will be in the paint with a Cam Thomas or a Dennis Schroeder, and you'll see Dorian Finney-Smith or Cam Johnson or someone bigger just switch off ball. And that stuff is important. They're boxing out. They're getting big rebounds. Claxton had big rebounds. Zaire Williams had big rebounds in this game. So they're just playing well as a team. And if they had the talent, they would be a pretty dangerous team. This Nets team, obviously, they're probably not going to go anywhere besides the play-in at most. Let's just be honest here. But if they had the talent, this could be a scary team. I just love the way they're coached. They're still full court pressing. They have that going for them. I don't think the full court press caused any turnovers. It might have, I forget, but it's still like it creates maybe 1 or 2 turnovers a game where they just press full court, and once in a while it works and it's a big momentum shift, and it's pretty demoralizing for an NBA team to not be able to bring the ball up half court. So to do that and create turnovers off of that, it's great to see. For tonight's game specifically, let's go down the line. I thought Dorian Finney-Smith had his moments. He had great moments defensively on Jason Tatum, specifically the last play in regulation where Tatum shot that brick at the end to try and win the game. There was a play in the first quarter where Finney-Smith had Tatum and he blocked his shot. Tatum hit it out of bounds. It was like just a great defensive possession. Tatum tried doing the crossover, the spin move, tried to draw the foul as he always does, and DFS just played it perfectly. So not a good shooting night. He was only 2 of 6 overall, 1 of 3 from 3. And it's funny, I told one of my friends the other day, if Dorian Finney-Smith was like a 38, 39, 40% three-point shooter, this Nets team would be so dangerous. There are so many times where Finney-Smith will just be open from 3 and he either misses or just doesn't take it because the confidence in his shot's not there. And I just feel like if he was a better shooter, this Nets team would be much better off. So maybe for tank purposes, it's better he's not, but it's just a thought that came to my mind the other day. Cam Johnson played 40 minutes, went 6 of 13, 3 of 8. He made good plays on both ends. Like, he had moments last year where defensively you're like, all right, this guy's not what I thought he was, but he's been way more aggressive this year. My thinking is that he's healthier now. Of course, last year he battled a hamstring injury at this point last year, and he might have missed the first couple games, I forget. But now he looks completely healthy. He's just playing with more athleticism, more confidence. He's moving better. So that stuff's good to see. Nick Claxton started tonight. Only 2 points, only had that one. It was a really nice alley-oop from Schroeder at the end of regulation. But 10 rebounds, he had 3 assists, he had 2 blocks, he had 1 great block on Tatum in the first quarter, had a block on, I want to say it was Drew Holiday going for a layup, so he had 2 big blocks in this game as well. And Claxton, I mean, it hasn't been like perfect. I still feel he's kind of battling the hamstring and coming back from that. He actually somewhat turned his ankle tonight. I thought it was worse at first, but after replay, it wasn't that bad. It was a slightly turned ankle. He didn't come out, so hopefully he's good to go. But overall, I think Claxton, like, once he gets healthier and in more of a rhythm, he'll be better. But so far, it hasn't been too disappointing. For Schroeder, 9 of 23, so not great there. 2 of 8 from 3. Made that one big three-pointer, probably with like 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter from the left wing. I mean, 4 steals is great, 3 assists. Did have 20 points. I feel like there were times where he would have a good look and it didn't go in, like a couple mid-range shots where it's like he was in the paint, had a great look and it just missed. I think he had a layup that he missed that he normally wouldn't miss. Yes, this was a big turning point. I forget exactly when this was, maybe like 3-4 minutes left in the game. Celtics were making a comeback and he had that finger roll and of course it rimmed out. He fell into Claxton, both of them fell. And the Celtics had a break, and I believe it led to a pass going out of bounds, so it was Celtics ball anyway, which stopped the break. It was either that or one of the possessions that Hauser missed, I forget. But Schroeder has been great. I mean, that's a guy who right now is playing up his trade value, which, I mean, that's great to hear, obviously. So there might be a team out there that would want his services. I've heard the Lakers thrown out there. Of course, Schroeder was once a Laker, so that would make a lot of sense. Cam Thomas did shoot 50% tonight, 11 of 22, 4 of 9 from 3, 5 of 7 at the line, which that might have been a difference right there. So that sucked. But I remember one time he went to the line late in the fourth quarter where if he made both, they would have got the lead. Instead, he missed one, so it was tied. But overall, like, Cam didn't have a great game on both ends. I saw some good defense, but also some where like he wasn't hustling. I mean, he's probably tired, I get it, but still, I think overall, like, offensively, it was a good day. I would have liked to have seen a better free throw day. 4 of 9 from 3, you'll take that. But yeah, I mean, I think it was a pretty good game. I don't think it was his best game of the year, but there were some moments where it's like, all right, that could have been better. That could have been different. He missed a layup, too, that he definitely would make 9 times out of 10. It was on the left side, and I think he just got trapped between the rim and the backboard. I don't know what happened there, but most times he's making that. So he could have had a better day, but overall, a pretty good night there for Cam. Jalen Wilson played 25 minutes, did not make a 3, but went 3 of 10. And you'll notice he actually went 2 of 2 at the line. But as I was getting to, like, you'll notice he really is taking it hard to the rim this year. That's something that maybe last year when he was a rookie, he wasn't doing that, but I feel like now he just has so much more confidence in his ability, in his game, where I've seen multiple occasions now this year where he'll take the ball and really just drop his shoulder and get the foul. He had it. It was either against Drew Holiday or Derek White, and I think it was Derek White. He got called for the foul, and Derek White was not a fan of it. But Jalen Wilson, he's putting down his shoulder and getting to the line. You obviously have to watch out for the offensive fouls, but he's been very aggressive, and he's a good rebounder. He makes hustle plays. Zaire Williams, I still like what I see. I said this the last time I talked to you guys on here. Zaire had some big rebounds, just times where he will just out-jump everybody, some big athletic plays. He had that one, I think it was a putback or a alley-oop, I forget what it was now, but he just makes plays. I mean, he did go 0 of 3 from 3. That's one of the parts of his game that we wish was better, but I do love his energy. I really do. So Zaire is a guy who can switch 1 to 5, very active defender. He showed that in this game on a few occasions. There were a couple possessions on Tatum where he gave him some issues, so that's pretty much all you could ask for. Did he have a steal? I want to say, did he have a steal? No steal. But Ben Simmons had a very, I don't know how to describe this. I was going to say it was a very Ben Simmons Nets career type of game. Like, just one of those games where you want to rip your hair out at times, but times where you're like, whoa, that was nice. Like that one play, it might have been a little before halftime maybe, where Pritchard was on him. He does a great behind the back wrap around on Pritchard. Then Tatum comes up and tries to double, and Simmons spins, does a full spin move, and throws a one-handed pass to, I believe it was Zaire Williams actually. It was such a great pass, a great play from Ben Simmons. And Ben's a pretty good passer still, as we know. There are times he throws dumb passes. He had that one dumb pass where he was working off a pick and tried to throw it back to, I think, Cam Thomas, and Tatum stole it and dunked it on the other end. But Ben Simmons did have some plays where it's like, all right, that helps. But, 4 of 6 overall. He did take a jump shot tonight. That was good to see. I think he might have taken 2. He took another one, but it didn't count. Something off the ball was called. But, just the confidence to take 2 jump shots, I'll take it. 8 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, which is not too ideal, but overall, just 8 points, 8.7 rebounds, 8 assists. So if he played more, maybe a triple-double, but he's now had 2 close calls with a triple-double this year. It's coming. The Ben Simmons triple-double in 2024 or 2025 will happen, but so far at least he's been healthy. I think he sat 2 games for rest purposes, which for a guy like him, it is what it is at this point. It sucks. He's only 28, I think he is. So to have basically not having him play on back-to-backs is kind of ridiculous, but after multiple back surgeries, I get it. Keon Johnson wasn't great. I'll put it that way. I feel like Keon had one good play in this game. I forget what it was now, but there was a moment where I was like, oh, that was a nice play, but now I forget what it was. He did have a stupid technical foul. It was the end of regulation, and I guess it was after the Tatum miss. He got the rebound. He just tried chucking the ball full court after the red light went off. So I guess that's a technical foul if you try to throw a full court heave when the time's already up. I don't know. So that was kind of a confusing one, but they missed the free throw anyway, so it didn't matter. This game had a chance to go into overtime with the Celtics up by 1, which you don't see very often. That may have happened that one time in the Celtics-Lakers game when Pat Beverly brought over that guy's camera to the ref and tried to show the ref he missed a call. That might have been one time where the score was not tied coming into overtime. Overall, I thought the Nets they did enough to compete. I actually felt good about them competing tonight. My brother's a Celtics fan, and I kept telling him throughout the week. And by the way, this was a long layoff. They didn't play since Monday, so I don't know what the hell was up with that. But I kept telling my brother, we're going to give you guys a fight. They're probably not going to win this game, but they're going to give you guys a fight. And this pretty much went exactly how I thought it would. I didn't think it would go to overtime, but I was pretty confident in the Nets playing a tough 45, 46 minutes, and the Celtics eventually pulling away at the end with, having Tatum the best player on the floor and just having guys that can make big shots. But I was very confident in the Nets' ability to hang around in this game, and after watching it, it's like, damn, they could have won this game. So I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but now they're 4-5. Looking at the rest of the NBA, I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks are a problem in a bad way. They're a problem. They suck. I think they're 2-7 now. They beat up on the Jazz either last night or the night before, but they lost tonight to the Knicks. So you hate to see the Knicks win, but still, Milwaukee, their pick is top 4 protected. I'm sure they'll get their act together at some point, but the fact that they're 2-7, they have not been good with Doc Rivers. Going back to last year, I don't know the overall record off the top of my head, but they are definitely below 500 with Doc Rivers since he took over last year for what was his name? David Griffin? Adrian Griffin. I don't know why I said David Griffin, but Adrian Griffin, they were like, they were 20, I forget what their record was, but they were well over 500 with Adrian Griffin. Of course, they fired him, surprisingly. I think they were 31-10, something like that. Like, they were good. And then Doc Rivers came in, and they just have not been right since, and I just don't think they would fire Doc Rivers mid-season, so I guess if you're the Bucks, you got to figure it out. And even the Knicks, I mean, the player that wore number 1 here last year, he has not been looking great for the Knicks. I do want to see what he did tonight, but I just see a lot of Knicks fans kind of freaking out about, like, this is the guy we traded 5 or 6 first-round picks for. They were telling Nets fans to cope, right? Knicks fans were telling Nets fans to cope because we as Nets fans, after watching Bridges for the entirety of last year, we're just like, yeah, he's just not that guy. Like, you traded a lot of picks for a legitimate role player, and it wasn't just us Nets fans coping. Like, no, this is actually who he is. He fell off as a defender. He doesn't do much but stand in the corner. If you ask him to do too much, it doesn't go well, right? He just couldn't dribble at times last year. He doesn't really create for others. And that's the guy you traded 5 or 6 first-round picks for. Tonight, he had 17 points tonight. I do want to see the percentages. 7 of 18, 3 of 11 from 3. Wow. So once again, not a great Mikal Bridges night. So still a great trade looking back on it. We knew it was a great trade at the time, but just looking at it now, it looks even better. So we'll see if he gets things figured out. But overall, I mean, it was a fun Nets game to watch. I found myself torn on what I wanted the outcome to be, but they lost, and it is what it is. I know the Nets have a tough stretch coming up. I've seen Nets fans talk about this. They have like this really tough schedule. This was supposed to be a tough game. It was. This was still a tough game, but a game that they almost won. So it's tough to go down this schedule and be like, oh, that's a loss, that's a loss. I mean, they play Cleveland next, and the Cavs just beat the Warriors by like 30 tonight. I mean, the freaking Cavaliers are ridiculous. I don't know. I think they're like 10-1 maybe. They're 10-0. 10-0 right now are the Cavaliers. They might be 11-0 if they're not counting this game from tonight. But they're really good with Kenny Atkinson, so that's great to see. A lot of former Nets there, of course. At Cleveland on Saturday. That's tomorrow. Wow. So back-to-back, they're going to probably lose that game. At New Orleans, hosting Boston, at the Knicks back-to-back. Like, they have some tough games coming up here, so the Nets, after like the end of November, the Nets may be in a tough spot record-wise, which once again is not a bad thing. Whether they win or lose, I mean, we're still winners as fans. Like, we're going to get what we want, hopefully. I still want the draft pick. I can care less about getting into the play-in tournament or getting the 8 seed. I just don't care for it. I really don't. Getting swept in the first round is not worth it. I'd rather have a player we can, have here for the next 10 to 15 years and hopefully lead us to NBA titles. That's what I care about the most, but we'll see how this plays out. But they do have tough games coming up. So next time I talk to you guys, the Nets might be 4-10 or something. So we'll see how the rest of the year plays out. But it is nice to get recognition around the league from other just media people and people that cover the NBA. People are like, whoa, the Brooklyn Nets are a surprise team. Oh, Jordi Fernandez is a great coach. They have something good going over there. So I know we don't want to win games right now, but to hear other people say that about our team, it does feel good. So it feels like we're on the right track right now. They just have to get the players. And for these next 2 seasons, this season and next year, the Nets really can't afford to have a great record. They still have their own pick, which they traded back for. So I do want to get high picks these next 2 drafts. But after that, once we hit 2026, 2027, I would say it's time to win. So we'll see what happens when we get there. But for this game, as I said, it was a fun watch. And whether you wanted to win or lose, I mean, for me, it was like a win-win situation. Like, if they won, I hate the Celtics, despise that fan base. If they won, that'd be cool. If they lost, which they did, then, hey, you're below 500. You're on your way to hopefully a top 5 pick, and we'll take it from there. So that'll just about do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys maybe after one of these Knicks games next weekend, but I'll talk to you guys next time.